What is up, guys? Today we're going to be playing a short horror story game called Dagon. It is an adaptation game based off the movie by who's that famous author? H.P. Lovecraft, I believe is the name. And I've never seen the movie, so this should be an interesting experience. And so we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Start. It's almost like I just said that. You will not find difficult choices, and what's the fun?
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Cool. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the elder signs. Oh, apologies for the RGB lights not being on. They're broke, apparently. I don't know why, but yeah. Oh, it is. It's yucky to move. I don't like it. Wait, how do I...
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
I'm no expert, but I think
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
I don't think this guy's doing too well to move.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
The German sea raider. I don't think I said that right. Why is it so weird to move? A little better. I don't know why I keep
The
doing
Great
this
War
dance.
was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Cool. I mean, probably not for them. I don't know if I like this. The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Huns as... You know what, y'all probably don't want to hear me read all this. If you want to read it, pause. You can read the discovered trivia immediately or go back to them later in the main menu. Turn off display trivia if you find that the feature distracts you from the story.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Okay, that progresses a story. I don't guess there's any trivia here. This is a fun story. I don't know if
When
it's
I
fun to
finally
watch.
found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
I don't know if it's fun to watch, but it is pretty
Never a
fun.
competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator. Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Let me fix this real quick. I don't see anything. What progresses the story here?
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
I'm guessing neither of those happened.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue. The change happened whilst I slept. Its details I shall never know, for my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Ew. Ew. I don't like this dream. It's like we're on a an alien planet. Anything to know?
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see, and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away. Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished. For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
There's also octopi all around you. That probably don't help.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Ew. I don't think they're fish, though. I think they're, I went to school, I know this. I know this. I don't remember.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
I haven't found a trivia.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position. Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
But I actually have to like zoom in to find clues. I mean trivia. I don't know. Thought those little bubbles will pop up.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
Oh!
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Okay, we're looking for clues. I don't see any trivia. Why do I keep calling it clues?
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
There's gotta be a clue here somewhere. I lied, there's not. Is that a shark?
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What is that? Gross. Okay. Oh. I'm done. You ain't gonna question that? That? Or even this? Nothing. You're just gonna press forward. Okay, come on then. Come on. What is this? That's a whale. Are you not worried?
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
We just found the world serpent. This isn't God of War. And there's no trivia, there's no clues.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance.
That's actually just regular land. I think the ocean just, like, evaporated or something, and that's just, like, normal. Not a mountain.
An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Fair enough. I mean, you won't
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night, but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Dude, the moon's pretty.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Still no trivia?
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost.
that a movie?
And of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
I need trivia on half these words he's saying because I don't understand. I have a monkey brain.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Are you crazy?
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
I think he's crazy. I think he's lost his mind. But what do I know? I'm on the other side of the screen.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Ready. Oh, you weren't talking about that? I'm looking hard for these trivia pieces. I just don't
That
see
it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
a giant rectangular piece of stone that's so smooth that no mountain could ever emulate it.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Didn't take very long to figure out.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
Is it the work of aliens?
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith,
Oh, it's 2022 all over again.
whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
He's looking for the trivia too. Maybe he'll have better luck finding it.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
It is aliens. Who would have guessed?
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
It's aliens. Get your tinfoil hat. Aluminum foil hat. Oh, I
The
didn't look.
writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
That would have been the one that had the trivia in it. Since I skipped over it.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
I'm not seeing anything I don't recognize except that thing in the middle.
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
I'm guessing whatever that thing is what those big pinnacles were from.
It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Oh, trivia. Pause if you want to read. I'm not gonna. So was that a thing with the big tentacles, Cthulhu? They look like octopus tentacles, though. Isn't Cthulhu a squid?
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Oh, those things? They're alien. They're mermaids.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto, or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
Mermaids.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail.
What do you mean there is no detail?
For the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
What do you mean? Somebody could have grabbed a paintbrush and just splat. And that could have been what that is.
Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Now that's details. Oh, is that what he was talking about?
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
I think that's what he was talking about. Now as you've
Glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
That one was cool. That one looks like that one looks like Reptile off of Mortal Kombat.
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Wait, the whale killed him? He was limp.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size.
I hope my commentary is adding any value to you as a viewer.
But in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born. Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What did you see? I didn't see it. Oh, no.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
Oh, no. I'm sorry about what I said about you being grotesque.
Fiend-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
My heart is through the wall back there, but you just keep on talking like you know something.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Like Godzilla and King Kong combined.
I think I went mad then.
I think you did too.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
You're on hallucinogens. You found some magic mushrooms in this non-ocean.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
That is pretty funny. That's crazy though.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Making the ocean again.
At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods. came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
You just went crazy. You literally went psycho. None of that happened.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing.
Yeah, because you're crazy.
Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Oh! Ooh, I almost missed it. Pause if you want to read. I hope I'm getting all of them.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Where have I heard of that at? Not this. Dagon. Feels like I've heard of it somewhere. Ooh! Okay.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
I feel like that's a little rude. Let's see. Why are you staring at me like that? Why if I walk over here? Why am I walking in like diagonals? Oh, that must mean there's something here. Like trivia or something. And if there is, I can't find it.
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing. I tried morphine, but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave. So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
He quit smoking as soon as he started wearing long pants. Like that mattered. So he hates tobacco. He hates alcohol. But he shoots up morphine. What kind of sense does that make? I'm going to get canceled on accident because I feel like I said that in like some drug addict. I mean, if you are a drug addict, get help. But what I'm meaning is like, it don't make sense.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm. A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
why does that matter? That has nothing to do with you until they do.
Of a
If
day
they
when
do.
the land shall sink, and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
If you're gonna have a fear of the world ending, I don't think this is a way to fear it. I think there are so many other ways that is more likely that the world will end. And I
The
don't
end
think
is
fish
near.
attacking us is going to be that on top of the list. Wait a minute.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Maybe I was wrong. Got Cthulhu at your door. Any more clues before I get attacked by a tentacle monster?
It shall not find me.
Better get to jumping.
God, that hand!
One hand! Oh.
The window! The window!
What if I don't want to jump? Dude, he's just crazy. He's just gonna kill himself because he's crazy. uh, okay. That was interesting. That was funny the way he freaked out because of a hand. That's sad though. He kind of just lived his life in fear to where he couldn't take it anymore. Oh, I didn't get all of them. No. Was there more? More games like this? I'm not gonna unlock. Okay, I'm gonna end the video there. An interesting story. I will say that game didn't really disappoint. The movements were a little wonky, I feel like. Um, just the way when you move your mouse, it feels like you're not moving your mouse or moving your person. Other than that, the storytelling was really good. I kind of wish it was a little longer, which I don't say about a lot of horror games. In that case, that wasn't really a scary game. Do it for this video, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can come back for future videos. And I appreciate all the support, and I appreciate every like and subscription, and even you viewing it more than 5 seconds. Everything helps out the channel, and I appreciate it, guys. And so I will catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.